Well, hello there. Welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message, obviously, for Virgo. Though, no, you know, the message always goes to the person that needs to hear the message. So there's many a time that I have landed on someone else's message, and meaning a different zodiac, and I resonate more with the message. So, like I said, is the way that spiritual energy works. Is it intended for Virgo? Yes, it's intended for Virgo. So, anywhere, a lot of times where you have Virgo in your chart, especially if Virgo is ruling your chart, you may not even be a Virgo. Your sun's sign may be a Virgo, but that may be what leads you. So just like I said, know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. You may have to flip it, switch it, twist it. You are intuitive yourself. So interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Sometimes we have to switch around little things. But again, you are your own healer. And so I am just a conduit for spirit to speak. I do look and see what's going to happen within your relationship, okay? And all that good stuff. But I also like to look at the spiritual blocks and the karmic themes that play out within your connection. And what's the big spiritual lesson that we were supposed to learn, obviously, and the energies that we're supposed to incorporate, not just to heal ourselves, but the connection. Because there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness is going to depend on what you do. Really, what you do is dependent on what you think. That's what I meant to say, right? So let's, without further ado, again, feel out the energy of the reading. Also, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, all you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the day. The word of the day always comes from my Psychic Soul Healer Oracle deck, made for healing the shadow aspect of ourselves. And we all have shadows. I don't care how spiritual you are. And the more spiritual, usually the more blocks you have. Every master starts as a disaster doll, and it's just the way that it goes. All right, let's take a look. Oh, cruel. I don't like that energy. Mean energy. Let me just tap in. Automatically, I feel like you're connected to someone that is acting like an asshole. You're connected to someone that has wounds, because people that have wounds are mean. It's, again, they loathe themselves a lot of times, because again, that's the shadow aspect of ourselves. See, the shadow distorts our perceptions about ourselves and then the world around us. And that's why we form habits, conditions, and reflexes that are in alignment more with the spiritual block of the core belief of what we believe. And so your person, again, I feel like you're connected to somebody that's mean. And so there's maybe soulmate, twin flame, someone of that nature, someone past life, karmic mate, it could also be, and understand that's a past life relationship that obviously you knew from past life. But again, it's because you didn't learn lessons in that life. And so there is unconditional love, but there's also a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And so imagine in this lifetime, when you meet someone, when someone does something bad and they hurt you, how it hurts. It's like, now imagine being connected to someone within a few lifetimes. You still haven't learned. So there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of fire energy that I'm feeling is stirred up. And over time, when no one's acting on this energy, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And I'm feeling like you're in a Mexican standstill right now with your person, and they're getting more angry, more angry, more angry, because this person is very prideful. They have a big ego. Remember, the shadow creates masks, and the mask is the persona of who that person wants you to believe that they are, but they're usually not that at all. They're usually the exact opposite. Like, usually, as one of my old favorite psychics used to say, ooey gooey, soft and chewy in the middle. Like, really soft, really like gentle, and so there, and so I'm feeling as if they need a lot of healing, is what I'm getting at. And you have a connection to this person. And a lot of times these connections, like I said, come into each other's life to teach. So we're going to look and actually see why, because that's the way that the reading started. Because since you and this person are in a separation, we can understand why the person is doing what they're doing, because this is triggering energy. Obviously, if you're connected to someone that is a soulmate that you feel unconditional love, they should be acting like they love you. They should be acting like they hate you. Okay, I need to be strong in who I am before I can merge my energy with yours in the 3D. I'm afraid I could lose myself in this relationship. So there's a sense of they don't want to cave to you. Because this person doesn't know how to compromise. They've either been in a relationship where they had all the power or they have no power. They don't know balance. They're very imbalanced. And people that have a lot of wounds, they're usually very imbalanced. And like I said, this person creates a persona to feel like they're mean, but they're not really mean. They're really soft. They just create that persona because they feel better, stronger within themselves. So they create this false persona, and this is what it's saying, that they don't feel strong in themselves. And they already know that when we have relationships where we lose ourselves completely, we're codependent. That's what that means. Separated or together, we are working in tandem with each other. So this person can feel your energy the way that you can feel theirs. It's like, again, soul relationships, that energy transcends time and space. So if you think because you moved a few towns over and you haven't talked to this person in a day or a week or a few months or a few years, and you can still feel them, well, that's you're still going to feel them. It doesn't matter, because again, they found you from a past life. They recognized your energy from a past life. You wound up in their vicinity, whether that was their work, whether it was bumping into them, meeting them through friends, going to a local place. The universe brought you in their vicinity. You were supposed to meet. This person knows this. They know that you're meant to be in their life. Which, by the way, scares the shit out of them. I'm going to tell you right now, because if they have a root chakra imbalance where they're not comfortable in themselves, they certainly are not comfortable with intimacy and emotional. Obviously, they're not emotionally intelligent if they're walking around acting like they're mean when they're not. You know, I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. We are becoming one again. This person just, I feel like they're obsessive about you. I feel like they can't stop thinking about you. And they're part of that because I feel like they're, like you said, they're usually obsessive. They either have all the power or no power at all. So that usually means they either care too much or they don't care at all. This person has a balance issue, like I said. And we knew that. Okay. Our love will manifest through the union of heart and mind. That's, again, past life connection. Expanding those areas allows our love to grow. So you and your person both have spiritual blocks in your mind and within your heart. So you both grew up in environments that taught you not to love yourself, not to believe in yourselves, that you weren't good enough. You inherited past family karmic debt from your ancestors, and understand the environment a lot of times is what created that karma, not just how a person like feels about themselves solely, but a lot of times what a person feels about themselves solely is from the people in their environment and what was going on in their environment. Imagine what people are feeling today and what they're inheriting today from the war. So you can imagine from everything, you know. So when we can see that, again, both you and your person grew up in an environment that wasn't safe, that didn't teach you how to love yourself, didn't teach you, didn't teach you to trust. And that happens when parents have addictions, when parents have a really hard time in balanced relationships. We inherit that. So what it's saying is, you grew up in that environment and your person grew up in that environment, and that's why you're coming back into union in this life. So you're a past life karmic mate to this person, Virgo. I mean, right now, and I say that because this person is not on a high enough vibration if they're walking around like this, cruel. Now, it doesn't mean that this person doesn't have feelings. We see that they have feelings all over the board, and they can feel it. This is why it's karmic, because we're going to look and see what they do, what they've done, I should say, because whenever we see this energy, we know that people have done not nice things. Now, again, people have that spiritual wounds. They create the persona and they try to live from that persona. And it's because they have a distorted perception of themselves. It's not even they have a distorted perception of you. However, they will have somewhat of a distorted view of you. Usually, if a person has a really big ego, they've created it so that they have elevated themselves, so they can be looking down on you. And I feel like that's what your person did to you, and that they did this when you first met. And that's why I feel like, again, the cruelness came from, it was like this person believed that they were something, and now they're in this place of escapism. I'm kind of feeling, because I see a lot of fantasy, but I don't feel like this person gave. And I don't know why I'm feeling that. Please be patient with me. Yeah, because the person doesn't know even. Spirit has brought you into this person's life because there really is unconditional love. There really is a connection. And a lot of times we can find patience through unconditional love, through having unconditional love for someone. It makes us do things we normally wouldn't do. Right? I mean, when we love somebody, like that commercial that you see the husband and wife, and he's like, I'm never going to get married. And in the beginning, the girl and guy, he says, I'm never going to get married. And then he's like, you see them get married. And he says, I'm never having kids. Then he has kids. And he's like, we're never doing this again. And then they're doing it again. It's like, because it's the thought a lot of times of what things are is not really what they are. We all have to have our process. If we don't have a process, we imagine. And so they're not as they are. We're focused on elements, but that's not really the true picture of what we're seeing. So our actions and our behaviors aren't going to be exactly on the mark. That's why the person is like, they're nervous, because you're acting different from what they're used to. This person's used to playing games, fights, arguments, conflict. That's what they're used to. They could create that drama, that toxic drama. They're used to trauma bonds, to be honest with you. And that's what this would be if you were not elevated. But I'm feeling like you're elevated. I'm feeling like, again, you're separated because you chose to be separate. And that it's kind of forcing this person, I need time, I need time. And obviously, because they need to figure out their process, they are overthinking a lot. So when, you know, you're like, well, can't the person just figure it out? It's like, no, it's because what happens when we have a spiritual block, we are coming from the reptilian mind, which is a survival mind. So it's very difficult to think. And we're thinking more about, again, the things that didn't work in our life, and we're trying to compensate for that. And so your person's getting very overstimulated. So they're getting through to like come to you because they have a big ego and they want what they want, but it's also they're coming through by focusing on the passion, the connection, that spiritual connection that they feel that they have never felt before. I'm planning on reaching out to you. Yeah, it's taking a lot of confidence for this person. So if you're like, yeah, damn, you're so impatient. Well, maybe Spirit's trying to say, you know, one of your spiritual wounds is to like, you have to integrate patience. And love is patient, love is kind. It's like, it's not easy to be patient with someone that acted like a fool. Like, and triggered your wound, because like I said, that wound isn't just from this lifetime. So it's like, imagine you stub your foot on the same coffee table every day of your life, and in the same place. Could you imagine how much it would hurt? And the fire behind you would want to pick up that coffee table and smash it into pieces like a crazy person. That's what you'd want. And you'd yell all over the place, and and then you become paranoid and you begin to like look around anytime there was a table on the floor, because you would want to avoid it. It's like, that's what happens when we have a wound. So to other people, they might seem crazy, but that's their reality. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness will depend on what you manifest. You can quantum jump in any reality you want. The twin flame journey. See, this person, I guess, because they're rising their energy, they're lifting their energy up. And this is really what will determine a past life karmic mate to a twin flame relationship. So that's good to know, because it's like what Spirit is saying, like, is that your person is integrating and transmuting their spiritual blocks, because they had to look at this behavior and they have to become humble, surrender their ego, and get to a place of unconditional love. And that is not the easiest thing to do, like, especially when we have a lot of blocks, because we've created those blocks for survival purpose. So let's see. So we're glad that person's reaching out. However, when a person has blocks, they need to transmute them. Just because that this person's coming back to you, you have to look at what your inner child wounds are, what your shadows are. Why are you attracting this person into your life? You need to know that, so that you can work on the spiritual blocks to transmute those blocks. Because if you don't, you will be triggered by this person. And that's what creates intimacy issues. That's what creates trust issues, because the triggers are like where we keep on getting emotionally hurt, seeing things from the perception of the wound instead of the reality of what is. So we have to become aware. Attachment, dependency, addiction. I'm feeling like you both kind of suffer a little bit from some sort of addiction. Now, you Virgo, you may be a shopaholic. You may be someone that dates a lot. You might be someone that smokes a lot of marijuana. Your person may be someone that drinks a lot. And so that's not uncommon. When a person has a lot of blocks, they have that, like, they don't feel good about themselves. And see, again, we are spirit in physical form. So, and we're supposed to feel like we're unconditional love, which is love and light. It's light, it's airy, it's fun, it's exciting because it's creative energy. It's the genius, that creative genius in self. Like if you can imagine it, you can create it. It's that supernatural part of ourselves that transcends time and space. And really, it's, like I said, the lightest energy. And so when we don't feel good about ourselves and we have blocks, it's heavy. It's heavy. And that makes a person actually feel lethargic because it's taxing on the nervous system when we don't feel good about ourselves, when we're stuck in a place of lack and limitation and shame. And that's what, again, attachment, addiction. So I'm feeling like spirit is bringing you and this person to come together to help transmute your spiritual blocks. Now, I'm feeling your person, now that could be your person too, that maybe drinks more than you do, maybe again smokes weed a little bit more than you do, maybe like dates a little bit more than you do, whatever it is, but it's addictive behavior, it's dependency. And spirit says there's only two energies, love and fear. So don't say, well, mine's not as bad. The spirit says light goes to light, even if it's a little bit. You know, even if it's like, well, I just like to go out and have a glass of wine every night, and it's like my thing. Spirit says, do you feel like you need to have it? And it's a dependency and it's an attachment. And it's because there's a feeling of lack. It's because we're not coming from our true self. True self is the higher self of love and light. Like I just said, light and airy. So that's what we need to look at. So what spirit is saying that is this relationship is to help you both step into your true authentic self. The twin flame journey, there's a lot of passion. It's hot, and it's hot for a reason, because the fire energy is actually what breaks up blocks. Because like I said, when you are with someone that you're really passionate about, you're willing to change your perception. You're willing to do things that you wouldn't normally do. You're willing to learn what forgiveness is. You're willing to, and by embodying those higher states of consciousness that are derived from unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe, which is the universe is actually inside of us. And that's the energy of God, that supernatural energy that is able to transform anything and anyone to heal. That is that energy that all the great healers are able to channel. So even though we know, well, let's look at some hidden truths because they're just fun. I just like to tell me more. How you like me. No, it's like, tell me more about what you think. And then we'll look at the triggers. Because triggers are going to let us know what you had to deal with in the past. I look for you everywhere. So again, there's a sense of your person is almost hoping that they would bump into you so that they don't have to reach out and humble themselves. But the universe isn't going to make it that easy for them, because again, it's all about surrendering the ego. So don't worry about that. If you're no, you got to do something. Because people, again, that have a lot of spiritual blocks, they put in very little effort. They breadcrumb. And it's not because a lot of times that they want to be player. Yeah, that's the mask. But it's mainly because it's I don't want to get hurt. you know? So if I don't give that much and you give me, then, you know, then I'm getting my needs met. And that's the problem. It's one-sided. And anything that is a real, that's unconditional love is not one-sided. And this is not one-sided. Your person was trying to pretend that it was one-sided. But the thing is, it's not like you couldn't feel that it wasn't one-sided, and they could feel it too, but their actions weren't in line with it. So they were like continuously like gaslighting, which was really cruel. So they feel stupid. Sometimes they stay awake thinking about you again, more obsessive behavior. I mean, but doesn't that make you feel good? The ego wants to know that too. Let's face it, it's like, tell me more, tell me more. Like, it's like, would we have to look for? It's again, and these cards are like, again, the wound, really the deep-seated wounds that come out within our behaviorisms a lot of times, so they're not really going to be the most positive. Expectations, like, again, like this person's wound, Virgo. That's all I'm going to say about it. You can't make a hamburger into a bowl of ice cream. It's not going to work. It's like, if a bowl of ice cream is what you want, then you can't be in a relationship with this person, because that's not fair to this person. Now, if you're willing to work on yourself and be patient and kind, and you feel like you really have unconditional love for this person, then it'll be easy if you're balanced. Meaning you're not looking for this person to fill you, because like I said, they're going to have enough to figure out how to navigate their own life in a relationship. Because God knows that they're going to be triggered a lot, might need a lot of free time to just clear their head. You know, I mean, it's a process. So setting realistic goals, because what this is like, you might have said unrealistic goals, like, okay, now, like, listen, now that we're dating, when are you moving in? Like, and when are we going to go away on a vacation? Like, and when are we going to do this? Like I said, this person will do those things. But again, letting this person have their unfoldment process. You may not feel that they deserve their unfoldment process, because you're going to you made me wait all this time. It's like, that's not really fair. Unconditional love means we don't hold the score. We don't hold the score. It means it just is. It's like, does the person do wrong things? Yeah, they did wrong things. Did they act like an ass? Yeah, they acted like an ass. But will you act like an ass later on in the relationship? Yes, because everyone acts like an ass. We all do, because we all get triggered. So it's about having compassion. Again, a higher level of consciousness, which is the energy of the universe, which is the energy of God, which is the energy that's inside of us, that makes us supernatural, that allows us to transcend time and space. Know it. Denial. Okay, and like, you might be dealing with a person that like is just like always like in denial, like with everything, like they stick their head in the sand. You might be like, no, we have a problem here. I want to talk about it because I feel the need to talk about it. You see, I want to talk about it. And this person, like, we don't have a problem. And that is part of, again, if a person doesn't feel good about themselves, they tend to avoid things, because then they feel even worse, and they feel like, well, this is my fault. And it's like they need to fix it somehow. They don't understand that even to fix whatever the problem would be, there's a process. We have to know exactly what it is. Your person was expected on some level to just know things, to fix things. They weren't allowed to have their unique unfoldment process, and their process, they were judged about everything. So they really feel inadequate. And this is what the issue is. So the denial is not so much, I want to deny whatever I did. Because understand, when you have spiritual blocks, what you're doing a lot of times is you're playing out other karmic themes of shame. So you might be like, you don't want to look at what you did, and you did all that. You ran around with this person, that person. You drank and danced naked on the table with a lampshade on your head and made an ass out of me. I mean, and you want to be in denial about it? So again, we don't hold the score. If you love this person. So twin flame is asking you to rise to the highest level of consciousness. Can you do it? Can you do it? Well, let's find out. I hope so, because listen, we all have free will. You can choose. But, if it's real twin flame, you might be like, fuck them, I'm not going to do anything. But then the day that it'll come, you'll be like, okay. If you, treat me a lot better, So don't be surprised. I love you. Yay! So again, this actually relationship is like, it is really a twin flame relationship. Like, to transmute wounds. Now, I just want to pull one more card from the universe, because we're like, well, is there any other advice? What should we also be focused on? Because twin flames, like, again, are about focusing on oneself. That person that's in your life is, yes, you both are a little codependent. However, you're both evolving into higher states of consciousness, and the unconditional love is helping you to do that. So you may have to explain this to your partner. You may have to, like, when this person comes to you and talks to you, you may really have to have a heart to heart. So then this way they understand when they get triggered that that's not, I want to kill you. It's, I need to look and see why this is bothering me so much, and understand that, yes, you may have to change behaviorism, obviously, to not trigger this person again, but it's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We get people that come into our lives that feel shame over their mistakes, and they're trapped in a cycle of shame. So in order to break any lower state of consciousness, we have the only antidote, the only universal panacea. And I hope I'm saying it right, because it's one of my cards, no less. I'm a bad way of making up my own words. Is the magic pill. The magic pill. If there is no magic pill, well, unconditional love is the magic pill. When we have unconditional love, forgiveness, it's magic. Everything goes away. We're willing to surrender our ego. So any messages from the universe on how to deal with this when we get back into union? Everything turns to light. I work to improve myself. Didn't I just say that? You're both going to work on improving yourselves. Embrace all that life brings to me and transform darkness into light. Meaning you're getting this person, again, that's a little dark because they're going to trigger you. But the love, the unconditional love you have for each other turns to light. Again, which is God, which is universal energy. I allow myself to grow and become stronger. So again, we expand consciousness. It makes us stronger because we can have more empathy and be more sensitive, but also be stern while we go with the flow of life. That makes us resilient. And we need to be resilient in today's day and age. And I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. Now, if you resonated with this, don't forget, like the video. It's good karma anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Why? Because you'll want to know when I'm on, especially when I'm doing a live stream, because I like to ask questions. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to write this ugly word. It's an ugly card too, right? Person looks ugly. Kind of like I don't know, but not an attractive figure. But you're gonna write cruel in the comment bar. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye bye.